I know you're at Staten Island University. We're waiting for that press conference. Firefighters there recovering. How many are at the hospital right now? Do we know?
Well, Tamsin and Corey, that number significantly jumped within the last 5 or 10 minutes. When we arrived here at Staten Island University Hospital, we were told it was only 8 firefighters that were injured, 3 of them seriously injured enough to come here. And we're now hearing that it's a total of 20 firefighters. We don't know how many of the additional injured firefighters have been brought here or to another hospital. But certainly the good news coming out of this location is that we are told by fire officials that the 3 seriously injured firefighters are alert and conscious and being treated. Obviously, as you heard from James, there was a lot of concern about the status of those seriously injured firefighters. And by the very nature of the kind of response that they had to deal with, it's easy to understand how the hazard level increases in that kind of environment. Fighting a firefighter, fighting a fire in a big apartment building with wide hallways, it's a different animal than going into close quarters, a residential setting. You don't know what you're walking into. We're hearing that it was a rear setback that collapsed onto the firefighters. We're hearing that they were not injured by the intense smoke, but they were actually in the fire, that stuff came down on top of them. So it is indeed good news that those 3 seriously injured firefighters are alert and conscious. We heard earlier that the mayor had arrived here. He is talking to the firefighters. That's certainly a good sign. And as you mentioned at the top of the newscast, we're awaiting a briefing, which is around the corner in another lobby where we're expecting to hear more details on the kind of care that has been given to those injured firefighters so far. And as soon as that news conference takes place, we're going to make sure that we get that news back to you. For now, we are live on Staten Island. Jay Dow, Pix 11 News.
Hey, Jay, I want to ask you something. I know, you've been reporting in New York a long time. We hear something like this and immediately, very scary. A partial house collapse. You touched on it just briefly, but talk a little bit more about that, because the danger involved in that, and we have seen these situations go really, really badly. Obviously, 3 seriously injured. Thankfully, they are alert and conscious right now, but talk a little bit more about that fire they were fighting.
Well, absolutely. I mean, when you're going into a big apartment building, there are strict codes that need to be followed, construction codes, fire safety codes. Firefighters often know if they're going into an apartment building in any of the boroughs and it's an established building, even if it's an old building or a new building, they know that there are going to be fire doors on the apartments. There are going to be wide enough hallways. There are going to be windows, ladders where they can get their equipment up into the space where they need to fight the fire. When you're dealing with a residential home, you're dealing with customizations. You're dealing with homeowners that have done certain improvements to their home. Firefighters don't have time to look up the records with the building department to find out what modifications have been made to the home. They're arriving there, and their job is to save lives, to pull people out, to put the fire out. So to hear that they were on the premises and a part of the setback, from what I'm told, collapsed onto them, it's not surprising, not knowing where the danger is going to come from. The good news is that, as you said, there were no civilians who were injured, and we do have these 8 firefighters initially and now 20 firefighters that we're being told that were injured, 3 of them serious. But the good news is that they are alert here at the hospital, presumably speaking with the mayor, and we're hopefully going to hear from hospital officials very soon a little more about the care that's been given to them.